multi-sector organizations which have contributed to that change. If I give you an example with what I said earlier on, in terms of what I have seen in the changes in the lifestyle of the generation, the young people. In the 90s, they were facing a lot of challenges. There were a lot of racism in the 80s as well. They were facing a lot of racism in the education sector, in schools, and that was really stifling their growth and development. What Bangladesh Youth League did, they went in there, challenged those racism in these schools, worked with the school and supported the young people and the community to overcome those barriers. And I think that made a contribution, that made a significant contribution in the lives, in the kind of changes in the lifestyle of the generation.
In Luton, we have a very mixed community, but we work and live together. There are challenges, and we work them through together. I think the biggest change has been the fact that we lost our manufacturing industry. Consequently, there was people that had always come from that white working class background went to Vauxhall. That was where they went. That work changed, and they had to think about where they were going to work. So that was one thing that happened. The other thing was we have had an influx of different communities. I mean, that's very true. And we've got an influx from Europe. Now, very different communities coming in again. We were sitting on a committee at national level that was put together by the current government looking at extremism. And it's very clear that Luton is way ahead in terms of how it tackles the issues of having 122 languages spoken in our town, the different communities that live together, and how we've always tackled them together with the community. And I think that is being looked at as the role model elsewhere, as the way forward. And to be honest with you, people elsewhere say, have you never had a riot in Luton? Because they just assume that we will have had problems. We've had EDL in Luton, and I think you have to stand up and be counted and say, I'm not tolerating that. And our position with EDL was very much clearly that we're not having anything to do with you, you're racist and Islamophobic. It's a glorious place to live, Luton, because we've got so many cultures, so many places to eat, so many people to talk to about different things.
I think for me, because I've been involved in Be Wild from a very young age as a participant in the summer schools, in the programs, and slowly through that I grew into positions where I was running summer schools for them, and I was chair of summer school, I was secretary. I've been in those kind of positions over the last 12, 13 years, I would say. So my whole life has been, Be Wild has been part of my whole life from the age of 8 years old. I would say, and I've seen the benefits from that. So I've seen the benefits that what I've taken from Be Wild, and what I've practiced now with whether my work, my professional work, my personal work, the other stuff I do around the town, and I see the benefits that I took from this.
They actually respected who you were, and everybody, it wasn't like they didn't treat us as carbon copies of each other. Okay, they believed in us, so they let us grow within the organization. But we all found our own route. We all found our own paths in our lives to, pursue our different goals. But we always remember that one of the biggest stepping stones for us was the Crescent Summer School project.
I think Be Wild is a prime example of doing that, getting more services for young people within Luton. I think especially within, Biscuit and Dallarwood.
From this organization, there was a person called Caroline Islam. You probably don't know about that. She was the development worker, women's development worker. She launched the service for women to support them if they were victims of domestic violence. And then we expanded it to forced marriage as well. Because quite a lot of forced marriage was happening because parents were so worried about these girls. They used to force them into marrying somebody they liked, the parents liked. But forced marriage is not acceptable. So we had to provide services to raise awareness about what forced marriage is and how it is not acceptable legally or in terms of religion also it is not acceptable, and morally it's absolutely abhorrent. So all these things were done through BWP here. And now it has expanded into something more. Health-related services, health awareness is also being given here.
I think it has a lot of, it made an impact on the ladies who come, 60 or 100 women who've been part of BWP since I started, on their confidence level. So for example, one person, when she started the first confidence building class, we asked her a question and she'd be like this and constantly hide behind someone. And now she's actually volunteering with BWP and she's happy to take a fashion show, take part in fashion show, that's International Women's Day that's happening on 8th of March. They just got to meet other people, is making friends from someone from another culture, another religion.
I always saw that period of BYL's history as, young people feeling quite, in a sense, outcast and not listened to. So at that time, I felt it was more about, hey guys, we're here, can you please listen to us? We have needs as well. And I think that's where BYL played a really strong part in going to the council, and we had really confident, young people saying, look, we want our voice, we need these facilities.
Age group 15 to 19 age group. So our objective was to young people who in Luton to explore and understand their education, their culture, their heritage. Number one objective. Another objective was skill development, life skill. Organizing to the any project is there. They live and learning at the same time in the hotel. They done the reporting. We done the feedback. Everything is the education related.
Down there, they have to pay to get educated, and it's just that they want to go, but they can't afford it. But here, I actually work with kids that get excluded from school now, so they don't really see the positive that you could get out of actually going and getting educated. And this, I think, in England they just take it for granted, and they just abuse it really. And but in Bangladesh they would actually love to do something like that, get educated and move higher, and get something out of life.
What did you get out of the exchanges personally?
I just felt like I just wanted to help young people, and that's what I'm doing now actually. So I just feel like even though I can't do, maybe I could one day go to Bangladesh and do a project of my own.
Number of projects. I would like to mention a few, like Little Stars Preschool for the younger 2 to 5 years, and then the youth club for the 11 to 19 years, and the holiday play scheme for 11 to 19, as well as we recently started this holiday, the February half term for 6 to 10 years as well. And we go Healthy Living Project, Health and Wellbeing Club for the 50 plus as well. So we cover all sort of.
So these joined up actions and activities will always benefit the communities and go right into the place where the needs are, which can't be met alone. You see? So this is why I think this is not just a visionary center, this center through which the services are provided, and of course there are outreach services as well. But the leadership must be visionary, and they are. Collaboration is extremely important, and both BYL and BWP know how to collaborate with other organizations, how to collaborate with statutory agencies, and statutory agencies are also smart enough to know they can't meet the needs of these communities. They will have to depend on these organizations like BWP and BYL. And leadership is important, and women are providing leadership, and I'm proud of that. That Bangladeshi women are providing services. They are becoming role models of other women as well.
By raising awareness of the issues around the needs of the South Asian people, in terms of how you can cater for the needs, because we've got high levels of people suffering from diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, so that needs to be brought to forefront, because life expectancy in Biscuit is on average 9 years less than Barnfield, which is unacceptable, and especially when Biscuit Ward has well over 90% of its residents are from BME communities. The organizations, in a sense, developed over the years, and I think I've been blessed by working with a good, dedicated team of staff, volunteers, and so I've been able to build on that. So part of the process has been re-establishing the position of CYCD as the key service provider working with disadvantaged communities, influencing policy and bringing about change, because we are an independent charity, and also then developing new provision to meet the emerging gaps, and also being innovative. I think CYCD is a very innovative organization.